There you go. So it's 7:07 on April 21st. I'm going to call the meeting of the Economic Development Commission to order. Present from the commission are myself, Sandy Allerhead, Laura Parker, Denise Luciano, Sharon Rice, and Mike Massini. So I think it's a quick agenda tonight. First is on the agenda, I want to thank Christine DeVoe for her time on the EDC. She's stepping down as she moves into her new role on the select board. So again, thanks to Christine, and we wish her the best of luck in her new position. And along with that, we now have an opening for an alternate on the EDC. So if any of the 5 people that are watching us now are interested, please send a letter along to the select board. And actually, Laura, do you think you can put that up on Facebook too?
Sure.
Okay, maybe just
on the EDC page.
Yeah, just to see if we can get anybody interested in that alternate position. She was an alternate, correct?
She was, and I think we have 2 alternate spots. I think we have 2.
Okay. Okay, so I thought everybody is full. No, there wasn't already an alternate besides Christine. She was the only one.
She was the only one, I believe. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
And I think even last week at the select board, when Christine stepped down, Renee made the announcement that we have 2 alternate seats available.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, I can post that.
All right. So next on the agenda, I'm not sure how far we're supposed to get on this, if we're actually supposed to vote on the Oasis of Tranquility, but we got some new materials since the last meeting that this was discussed. So I guess we would need to review that material. And Paul, were you able to put that into Dropbox?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I guess I don't have a link to that then somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how to get to Dropbox.
Okay.
I don't know if I do either.
There, but I don't know how to get it.
Yeah, that makes 4 of us, Paul.
Okay, so clearly you didn't get it. I probably just had a miscommunication with Renee.
Is there a lot of stuff in it? Is it stuff that you can pull up now that we can look at, or do you think it's the volume wise we need time to look at it probably before the meeting?
Actually, I think what I didn't. I think what ended up happening, Renee was able to get an account. Oh, wait, you know what? Nope, no, I'm wrong.
Denise, I think it's all the same stuff that Renee sent to us. I don't think
it is.
She hasn't sent, but I just wasn't sure if it was, I just was curious if it was on Dropbox. And I was supposed to have some access to something that I missed, but.
Gotcha.
Let me send it off to you all now.
All right, so anyone have thoughts on the documentation? I missed the meeting. I watched most of the meeting where where Oasis came and spoke with you all, but some of it was cut off. The recording wasn't there the entire time. Like 3 minutes in, there was a piece of it missing, but I think I caught the majority of it. I know you were looking for just some more information from her. So anything that came up in the additional documentation that anybody wanted to discuss or follow up on?
So there was one piece of information that we wanted to see that I can see an email where she said to Renee she was going to provide it, but I don't see that email. And that had to do with the people on her team and her management, so to speak. And then the other thing that I think Renee was fairly clear on in the last meeting was, unless and until we see proof of financing, that we were not going to be in a position to recommend them. And I still haven't seen that either.
Okay, so you were asking for, you're saying we didn't get any of the information on the management that she was supposed to provide. Is that what?
I don't see it. I see it in an email to Renee saying I'm going to send that next.
Okay.
And I don't know whether it was a matter of maybe Renee didn't realize she didn't send it or it was never sent. I'm not quite sure which.
Right, okay. Yeah, from the meeting that I watched, I gathered that she was outsourcing quite a bit but didn't seem to have those partners lined up yet.
Yeah.
Is that a correct assessment?
Yes.
So I guess, and I mean, I would agree until we see exactly who's part of that management team. It's hard to, right now, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of experience in the industry or in any of the three. It's kind of a big, tall thing she's taking up on herself, right? With all three of those components, the multiple, facets of the industry. So right now, I would say, based on what I saw in the documentation, I would agree that I'm not comfortable necessarily moving forward because of the lack of experience in the team. I think if she had some names and information background about some of the people that she was working with, that would certainly be helpful. And I know she was hoping to get the financing after the HCA, but I don't think that's the way we're going to be operating, right? In terms of, I mean, did anybody mention to her that if she could get the financing contingent upon the HCA, right? Like nobody has to put up money necessarily that they're not going to get back if she doesn't.
We just need a commitment.
Right.
Yeah, I would agree, and I am also concerned. First impressions mean a lot, and this would be the first cultivator I think that we've seen requesting to move into town, and I'm concerned with the lack of experience with that in mind, knowing that if we get it wrong the first time, there'll be lots of resistance in the town to want to add any others.
I think we still have an issue with the type of structure that they're looking to build as well. I don't think the state regs allow it yet.
The tented, whatever they're called, yeah.
Yeah, greenhouse.
No.
Greenhouse, yeah.
So, yeah, I would be willing to table this until we had a more complete package.
I agree. A lot of questions, sounds like.
Mike, you okay with that too?
I'm fine with it. I thought the presentation to me started off a bit bumpy. I think it got a bit better as it went along, but I didn't really get a overall sense of sort of command and control of the business model. Just simple questions like, where are the locations in town were just seemed like the answers didn't come easily. So I don't know, it just felt to me like they're moving very quickly, and, I didn't get a lot of the warm and fuzzies that I was hoping to get out of it.
Is anybody concerned about, like, I guess, has there been any discussion that I missed that with how many delivery, how many sales companies do we want to have in town? I mean, we have the 2 retail licenses, we have the 1 delivery, right? That's in the works. I guess, is there a cap at all? At some point, I feel like, there should be some cap. I don't know where that's going to be, though. Are we still entertaining more delivery HCAs, or at some point, are we going to cut that off?
I think I had made reference to this earlier when we were discussing it. I don't see how you do it without kind of cutting off your own nose to spite your face, because if we do limit it, it's not going to prevent a buyer within Norton from going to a delivery operator outside of town. So I guess the lesser of 2 evils is we, kind of let everybody who wants to deliver, provided that they can get an HCA signed and get approval from the select board. And it's going to be survival of the fittest. Whoever either gets there first, gets the market share, has the better model, has the better platform, that's going to be the one that succeeds. There's nothing to stop, even if we were to limit it, there's nothing to stop a retailer from within the town from just setting up a delivery operator in another town and doing their deliveries for them, and then we lose that revenue. So I understand completely what you're trying to say. I just don't know how to go about it without it being to our detriment. But I'm open to any suggestions anybody has of creative ways of going about it. I would just hate to lose the revenue.
Yeah, I guess I feel like it's such a new thing, and I feel like we're getting a lot of interest. And we haven't even had the first one start, right? So I feel like we're moving pretty fast through this.
Yeah.
I guess that's the part that concerns me, is we haven't really tested out what we've already approved, and is there any point where we just kind of put the brakes on a little bit? And
I'm less inclined. The Oasis package in general, it kind of worried me from the get-go. You don't really see cultivation and delivery operator in the same realm. It doesn't naturally fit. It's ideally two separate things. You know, it makes more sense for a retailer to go for an operator license or even a courier license than a cultivator. Again, I agree with, I think it was Denise who said, you know, she's bit off a lot. So, but if we were to be approached by another standalone delivery operator, it's just additional revenue that they could be bringing in for the town. They could be sourcing their product from alternate places. I think at the end of the day, we have to let the market decide who's going to win in the delivery area to some extent. Because there's not a lot that's going to set them apart. They can get product from multiple places. It's probably going to come down to service and platform and ease of use.
any other thoughts on either the limiting or just in terms of Oasis in general?
I would agree with what Laura said. Let the market kind of, sort itself out. Whoever has the best product and services will win, but I think it needs to be the right model too. I don't know that this one is.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I definitely feel like we're in the position where we can be a little more like with other businesses. We're just, whoever wants to come in, we're not in a position to turn a lot of people away, right? But I think in terms of this industry, we, based on what we've seen, I think have a better idea of what we're looking for, and I think I would think be a little more selective in who we approve, because I think we can be, right?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, we want to do what's best for the town, and we want to make sure that we've at least dotted our I's and crossed our T's. But if another courier were to present a package that I felt made sense, I would probably recommend it.
Right,
I think whoever's the first one in is probably going to get the most benefit out of that, and hopefully gain some market share and some consumer loyalty.
All right, so I will tell Renee that we're going to table this and ask her to get some more information, or table this until we get until I guess Oasis firms up more of their plans, right? Because I don't know that it's necessarily waiting for their information as much as waiting for her to really line up the financing and the partners and everything else, right?
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on that before I move on? Okay, so business guide review.
Sorry,
I-
Sandy,
Yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, can I just make an update on, actually some pretty big news. But we actually just received this afternoon the special permit application for Solar Norton.
Ooh.
So they've submitted the site plan and special permit application. So what's going to happen is on that application, assuming everything goes off, I have to write the notice tomorrow and get it all out. But May 11th will be the first time the planning board will hear that application. But next Tuesday, Andre from Solar is going to do an intro to the project, an informal discussion with the planning board. And I'm waiting to confirm with Renee, or I should bring it up to you all, but I've been coordinating with Renee about, as part of that discussion, just doing a refresher on the bylaw, but specifically honing in on the special permit and site plan provisions. So that way, the board, can, especially we have 2 new members, will be more familiar with it. So that way they'll get to, at least in advance, get a reminder of what the bylaw says, but also hear that project before they actually have to work on it. So there'll be some, decisions we'll want them to make regarding like peer review. Are they going to want us to have a peer review on odor, on noise? So that's it's exciting. We just got that application. So, can't wait to see. And I also, as part of the welcoming material for the new board members, I gave them the marijuana bylaw because just told them this is coming, guys. So here it is. Get familiar with it. So we'll have a retail store coming in, and it's here.
Great, excellent. Yeah, thanks for the update. Now,
Where are they looking? I'm sorry, Sandy. Where are they looking to go?
This is at the old mini golf site, so 242 Mansfield.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
Sandy.
Yeah, excellent. All right. Anyone have anything else on anything marijuana related? Okay. So then the next on the agenda is the business guide review. I did reach out, Denise, to my friend about putting something together. Once we give her information, she's happy to do that if that's the direction we want to go. But again, we just kind of need to decide what's going to go in it and what pictures, that type of thing.
Yeah, that's with me.
Yeah.
Well, the picture part, maybe not, but I was going to just scrub some of the names and contact information, reference the website for Paul, and I will get that probably late this evening, but I promise I'll get it out this evening. That's my bad. I apologize.
That's okay. Are we thinking, I thought we were thinking a trifold. Is that kind of the idea at this point?
Well, so where would we be using it? I guess what
I don't know.
like
That's I feel like we never really established that, right? It's to give to people, but I'm not sure who we're giving it to.
Are there like industry meetings, Paul, that you or Mike would attend that it would be helpful to hand this out to?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We Mike and I, Mike Units and I will meet with businesses, Nick Iafredi, the building commissioner. I think this would, this has a useful purpose.
And do you envision like a trifold would, like a pamphlet type of thing would be the best model, or some other? What, like, have you seen anything before?
Yeah, I mean, nowadays it's short and sweet, right? So, anything that's as convenient as possible, and as again, I think what you've drafted up was pretty compact.
Okay.
But yeah, I think something that can easily, so if it's a trifold, it's you can put it away pretty easily.
But she doesn't need me to put it in a trifold format, right, Sandy? She'll do that.
No, right.
Okay.
Yeah, if you just give her the information, the verbiage that you
Okay.
have to put in there, and throw some pictures. You say you need help looking for pictures? I know that Alan, we were going to use Alan's pictures, but did you?
So I looked at his website and I saw some pictures that were nice. I don't know if we had in mind anything in particular that we wanted to put in there. I'm assuming maybe one of the center.
He's basically given us carte blanche, just let him know which ones we want to use.
Off of his,
The
is it off of
easiest
his
would,
Facebook page, right?
yeah, easiest would be to go on his Facebook page, and then tag me just in a comment. And I'll message him and say, these are the ones we'd like to use, and he'll get me them in a format that's usable for us.
Do you want to pick the pictures? Because I'm not really good with that kind of visual thing.
Sure, how many do we need?
I don't know. I would say maybe 4 or 5 max, maybe.
I'll get a little assortment and we can kind of use or leave behind, whichever.
Sounds good.
I'm not
can do
very
that.
artistic.
Yeah. Just something that kind of represents Norton.
Yeah.
Pretty pictures.
Yeah, the only ones I was thinking of, like the center and like the I don't know what it's called, the reservoir.
Yep.
Right? Like the reservoir area. Those are only 2 areas I could think of off the top of my head that would be kind of representative, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
You know,
wondering, sorry, go ahead.
Laura, I was just gonna say, if you go to the master plan website,
Mhm.
there are some drone photos, high resolution drone photos, and there's one wonderful one they've taken of the reservoir. It's ours to use. If the resolution doesn't work, I might have, one, or I can ask them to send us a JPEG or PNG, whatever they're using. But those are some great aerial photos that they've taken.
That would be great. I don't know who owns them. I don't know who to go
We
with.
do,
Okay.
we do. But again, if you go to the master plan website, you'll see images. And if there's something that you really like, if it doesn't pull down, if it starts to break apart, let me know and I'll figure out a way of getting that photo,
Okay.
the original version of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Denise, actually, if you want to get me the content, and we should probably review it as a commission before we give it to Kathy. Just because she does it on a Mac, and it's not like something I can necessarily edit once she does it. So I'd rather give her like final wording that we want to include. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else on the business guide review?
Sorry, I was on mute. But if I send it out tonight and like you guys look at it over the next, several days or whatever, but nobody has any changes to it, do we need to bring it back at the next meeting?
No,
or
that's fine. Yeah, no, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or people can send you individual changes if it's just small things, and we can tweak that from there.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right. Okay, so then next, the 2021 objectives, the rapid recovery grant. So Paul, do we have any updates on that?
Yeah, we actually, the survey closed last week, and my understanding was we actually had a slightly higher rate of responses. We're in that higher threshold. So I don't know, but we should be getting the survey results this week. So that's good. Our consultants were in town yesterday. I met with them. They walked the district, and they were just taking photographs, really trying to get a sense of it. What's interesting is they've actually done a parking count in the district. So between the village center out toward the shopping center where Home Plate is. And that's going to be helpful, because my speculation is we actually are overparked. And so the good news is, while we don't have on-street parking, it's possible to start a conversation to have parking agreements between different property owners. So, when a restaurant's busy at night and an office next door is closed, why not have an arrangement for the office to have, parking? And those things will be worked out. But so, we're getting into that next phase now where the data collection part is getting close, is getting to an end, and then we'll start coordinating with the businesses and trying to get their input. And this is the really important part, to figure out what are solutions that'll work for them.
Great, excellent. So the survey, when did you say it just closed? When will you have those results?
I believe we're supposed to get them possibly tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a consultant working with the state, but they use SurveyMonkey, so it wasn't a very complicated survey, so we're all going to be curious to see how they were impacted, and some other aspects, their views of the corridor, because they were asked questions like, what do you think about the street? How does it look? And how does your building look? So, there will be some really helpful information for us to help figure out a plan going forward, short term, and there's going to be some long-term things we're going to have to do too.
Excellent. Is that something you can send along to us once you get those results, or do we?
I should be able to.
Okay,
I don't see
great.
why not.
Excellent.
Paul, how do you select which businesses take part in that discussion you're talking about when we discuss solutions? Is it open to everybody where you just post it publicly? Do you go by the survey respondents? How do you select, I guess, who's in that discussion group?
Well, it was any business that was it's within that, between the village center and out to 140. I mean, I'm sorry, out to Home Plate. So we didn't distinguish. All we cared about was it's a business. So, and in fact, the survey breaks it down. They ask a survey respondent, what type of business are you in? It wasn't to eliminate any business. So hopefully we'll have diversity of respondents in different fields to help us figure out. But regardless, we'll still go forward and still try to get any of the businesses in that area to participate.
I got you. So the survey was targeted initially to those specific businesses. Like you emailed them directly to them.
Well, we mailed it, and I went door to door too.
Okay.
Well, door to door. I mean, many businesses were only open by appointment, and but some businesses might have gotten 3 touches. Many got 2, and some just got 1.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just curious.
It was good though to be able to, there were plenty of businesses I've not been in, didn't know the owners. So it was a really good couple of days to meet people, give them my card, so it goes just beyond here's the survey, but if you have questions about anything going on, and that we can help you with as a town. So it's just trying to build goodwill too.
Hey, Paul, just a quick question there. I think that's great that we're doing, you guys are exploring that. Do we know what percentage of those pieces of property are owner occupied businesses versus landlord lease arrangements where we're talking to the business owner, but they may not have the authority to enter into kind of those partner arrangements?
I don't know that number. I don't, but I would expect it would be largely leases, that the companies are leasing it. But there are examples where, like an example, Bog Iron leases their space. That's owned by the property's owned by someone else. But I think we will see that it's largely property that's rented. But that's I don't remember the survey asking that question, and that can have a bearing because, for example, if companies say, well, we'd like to have more outdoor seating, we apply for a grant for it. We need to make sure that the property owner is okay with doing that. So, but yeah, that may be something we end up finding out.
Yeah, there may be another population of folks we want to loop in here, and the decision makers, people that own the property versus the folks that are leasing space.
Yeah, I think that my expectation is that would have to happen.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any other questions for Paul? All right, excellent. Yeah, Paul, if you can forward along any information you get on that, that would be great. We'd be
Absolutely.
interested to see that. All right, so then next is the partnership with existing Norton businesses. I know that Paul sent around a list, and Laura worked a little bit on that list and also got a list from the state, correct?
That is correct. I have two actually different lists from the state, one off the revenue website and one that I went from the Secretary of State and just asked them to run me. I was hoping to get a little bit more information. I was hoping to get everything that's on the summary page. So when you type in a name of a business or a person, it gives you the business summary, and it provides like the name and address of contact information. It didn't have that. So it had the name of the business and then their address and the date of organization, I think. And they had identified them by, so they gave us literally everybody in Norton. So it includes nonprofits. It includes, there were some foreign limited liability companies, trusts, homeowners associations, charity trust type things, things that we don't necessarily need. So their list was very long. I would say there was probably 750 names there. So what I'm going to do is collate them and then see where we've got duplicates and kind of cull them out and see if we can at least get one master list with every identifiable, and we can kind of decide as a group what we want to keep and what we want to either set aside or put into the tab or whatever. And then if we want to try and identify them in a certain way, we can expand and put in, contact information, types of businesses, if that's something we wanted to be able to sort or filter for at some point in the future. So the only problem I see with it is it's going to be fairly static. Somebody's going to have to take ownership of it and keep it updated as new ones come along. And I don't know how you go about that easily, given that we had to go to 3 different sources for that information. So the town doesn't seem to have a complete source. The other thing that I found was interesting is there's some that town lists that the state has no record of whatsoever, which I found sort of interesting. So whether they're not in existence, whether they're not paying taxes, I'm not quite sure. So, bless you.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, I'm actually wondering if Paul can start to add some of his information that he's gathering from even just contacts and things that he's getting as he's doing this project with the Rapid Recovery Grant. This would be a good time to kind of put those extra tabs in and start getting that information as we go along. Anything else you need, Laura, from?
No, it's more of unfortunately, it's just going to be a little time intensive in going through it and figuring out, where we have, because in some cases, like the town listing had addresses, the Secretary of State's had addresses, but the Department of Revenue one didn't. So where we have, I didn't know whether we wanted to keep the Department of Revenue one. Basically, all it is was an entity listing and that it was a corporation. There wasn't a hell of a lot of information. So I may just jettison that and work from the Secretary of State's one with the town one and go from there. But even that, the Secretary of State report had just a ton of duplicates, and I don't know why. In some cases, it looks like a entity had gone from, let's say, an LLC to incorporated, or vice versa. I don't know why you would do that, but so in some cases, there were actually, it was, ABC LLC, ABC Inc. So clearly there was a change at some point, and they still have both. But in some cases, it would say ABC Inc. period, and the next one would just say ABC Inc. So clearly a duplicate. So I had to cull a lot of those out. Apostrophes were missing. So there were lots of duplicates that need to be filtered out and then compared against the state site and see if we can get a good listing.
Okay, great. So maybe next meeting,
I'll have it done by then.
take a look at that, and yeah, we could start figuring out what else we want to add to it, what other information we want to start to gather for our use. All right, any other thoughts or questions on that? Okay.
Thanks for all that work, Laura.
Yeah, thank you, Laura.
Sure. I got all sorts of time now.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a good job for Joe.
Yeah. I might have him, when I get the final list, I might have him do a little magic.
Yeah.
To merge them so that it looks better. Because right now it's like different fonts. It goes out like to 17 different columns.
It might be interesting to see too. I know you're going to merge and take out duplicates, but if which ones are on both lists, and which ones.
I did. So when I combined them, I created a column in every one, and I wrote the source, or I marked the source in that column. So, and then I sorted it by entity alphabetically so that I could see, if they showed up on just one, if two, or if three. There is some, I got to do some manual work on it because in some cases, there would be, I'm trying to think. I've got to do a little bit more manual, like O'Leary's gymnastics, for example. In one place, it's just O'Leary's, no apostrophe, and in another place, it has an apostrophe. So it's actually not even right next to each other. So, and that's what I mean by manual, kind of looking through and figuring out where I do actually have duplicates.
Yeah.
Data cleansing.
Yeah, that.
All right, sounds great.
Sounds fun, Laura.
Yeah.
It's actually good, nice, mindless work. I'm not minding it too much.
All right, excellent.
It tamps down the rage.
All right. Then the last couple things on the agenda, I'm not sure if we've talked about these before. The Regional Economic Initiative and prioritizing diversity. Do we have any updates or thoughts on either of those, or things we need to move forward with, next steps with either of those? I guess those are part of our objectives this year. I'm not sure.
I don't really know what they are.
Well, I can explain them, but
okay, great. Yeah.
The regional recovery, you can take that off the list. We had applied for a grant with 4 other municipalities around us, and we didn't get it.
Okay.
So we were hoping to do a vacant land, a full-on analysis of vacant lands in commercial and industrial areas, and then build that into a marketing strategy and tools, but we didn't get it. The diversity was just, that was, Renee and I had a conversation about that what can we do to promote more diversity, not only in our economy within the town, but also diversity in far as residents. But that was the, nature of the conversation we had, and she just thought we should put that on the agenda.
Paul, is that something that you've ever talked about in your with the other planners? I know you're part of different groups at all. Has that ever come up as a point of discussion? Were other towns have ideas for that?
Well, diversity is really a very, very contemporary topic. you know, it oftentimes comes from communities that already have a fairly diverse community. I mean, Norton isn't, you know, we are very low percentage of people who are non-white. But you do this through, you know, a number of things from housing to jobs, education. But you know, it's not something I've, you know, my focus has been on in different areas, but still, it's the idea that everybody should feel comfortable living where they live, and providing opportunities, various types of opportunities for diversity of people to live in town. Again, it just was a conversation, and a lot of things have to, you know, would have to fall into place.
Yeah, it's definitely a big topic, right? So I'm just wondering if there are any more specific actionable steps that we could, as a commission, consider, or I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that. I mean, it's a great goal. I just feel like it's kind of a big topic, right, to try to attack.
Yeah, I mean, short of it, I think residence wise is probably a tougher ask for a group like ours. You know, in terms of commerce, you know, if we could find ways to fund incentives for minority owned, women owned businesses and entice them here with that. Unfortunately, I know, you know, it comes down to where does that money come from? Are there grants available? But is there some sort of incentive program that we could offer? It's just a thought.
Yeah, that's probably something, again, maybe something just to keep our eyes and ears open for, and then see if anything comes up, or even opportunities that we can promote for business owners to help them to you know, get funding sources, even if we don't necessarily provide it. If we can maybe call that list of opportunities, or you know, provide that information.
If
Maybe
there's
something
somebody we
to
could
consider.
partner with, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
one thought is there are some business organizations like the Center for Women in Enterprise that, you know, maybe they could come to one of these meetings and talk about, you know, what they see are recommendations to help promote, you know, a diversity in businesses. There's a few others that we could probably, I know Center for Women in Enterprise would be, and then I can look it up. It's on our economic development page, but there's another organization that focuses a lot on minority-owned businesses. And so, you know, maybe there's something there that they could talk with us.
Is that a Massachusetts organization, Paul?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they have offices like Center for Women in Enterprise. They cover, they have Massachusetts offices, and they cover different regions of the state. So if you went to our economic development page, everybody there is where we could had links right to their regional websites or their offices. But that's a big topic. You know, certainly could be worthwhile doing, but we probably need a whole lot of help.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's an important topic, but I agree. I think we need a little bit of help with trying to figure out some ideas of how we can draw those some more diversity in both the businesses and the residents, right?
Yeah, but right now, I'm willing to bet we're going to see, when we see the survey, you know, this week or next, I think we're going to see some pretty, you know, they're not going to surprise us, but they'll still be upsetting to see companies losing 25, 30% revenue. And I would just suggest we just continue to focus on them, getting them back up and running, and, you know, stronger than ever, right?
Yeah, I think we definitely have a lot of things going on between the master plan and you know, opportunities that maybe are a priority right now. Is anybody interested in having the Center for Women in Enterprise come to one of our meetings, or do we want to hold off and focus on the other things we have going on right now?
I don't think it's a never, but I do agree maybe we should, you know, focus specifically on bolstering up businesses that we've got and, you know, making the best use of the time that we've got from the Rapid Recovery Grant consultants. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin, but I don't necessarily think it needs to come off, but maybe it's maybe it's more of a 2022 initiative.
Any other opinions or strong thoughts either way?
And I certainly don't think it's a rush, but I don't think it would hurt to have them come in, because it could be things that we could overlay with things that we're already doing, right? We could somehow, you know, marry the two up in some way. I don't know what kind of ideas they would have, but worth listening to maybe.
And, you know, it should point out, like when I went, you know, door to door, there are a handful of businesses in that district which are owned by, you know, women or minorities. So we will be helping that group. I mean, it doesn't get to growing the, you know, diversity, but there will be people that we are helping who fall into those categories. So, you know, and I think as we get more successful, you know, my hope is that if we're very successful with West Main Street, that creates synergies elsewhere. And maybe it shines a light on Norton as a business friendly community and a place where you want your business to come. But it takes time, right? So one step forward, you hope not two steps back. but you know, that's part of the hope, is let's get them out of the emergency situation and really build it. But then hopefully we've created good systems that we can go and grow elsewhere in town.
Yeah, it's definitely great having a consultant to kind of give us some actionable steps that we can take, or how we can support them more. That I think would, as you said, would continue and extend to all sorts of businesses in Norton. All right, I'll pass it along to Renee, and you know, kind of see what the agenda looks like the next couple meetings, and if, you know, she feels like we have room at some point, it might be a good thing to kind of put on a future agenda. All right. Any other thoughts at all? That's all I have on the agenda. Do we have any minutes to approve? I see a big list here, but I don't think we have.
Sorry, this is Denise. I think we do, but last time I talked to Renee, there were some things that she wanted to tweak, and I didn't get a chance to confirm with her before she left that she had made those.
Okay.
tweaks.
All right.
So
all right. We will push those off then. Okay. All right. Maybe we'll just have a meeting to approve minutes sometime, right? Be the entire meeting. All right. I don't have anything else. Anybody else have any other things to add or questions?
I have not been on this committee for very long, but I have to say this is a record for a meeting, 55 minutes. Well done. Well done.
So
Danny should run these more often.
Well, I think it helps when Renee and Michael aren't here. We'll have to tell them it's them. All right. I will then, if nobody has anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
All right. I'll do a roll call. Sharon?
Aye.
Laura?
Yes.
Denise? Denise, you're muted.
She's muted.
Sorry, Gavin's mic waving, yes.
and Mike.
Yes.
All right, it is unanimous. All right, everyone. Thanks, and I will see you next meeting.